So I'm doing a requested video for a couple of old assignments. I'm just going to do a few examples, not nearly as many as I would in a new introduction to concepts video. So I had a request for 24-2. It's a while back. It is from circles and chords and radii and bisectors and perpendiculars. So I've got my really badly drawn circle. You can tell that I have a radius of 10. And then I have part of a radius starting to shoot out. It's not quite all the way going to the edge. And it happens to be intersecting a chord. It is intersecting the chord at a right angle, so this length of 4 is perpendicular to this chord. That means that that chord is going to get cut into two identical pieces. It's a perpendicular bisector. And so what that allows us to do is to do a quick Pythagorean theorem, where we can start solving and say that 4 squared plus x squared equals our hypotenuse squared. So I'm just going to do some quick arithmetic. Let's see, I think that would be 84. Take the square root, grab my calculator, and so that length for x would then be about 9.2. There can be some other situations where we will have kind of that same concept. Remember, not drawn to scale, where I might tell you that this length is 7 and that our hypotenuse is 15, and then to find this piece inside the triangle, well, that 7 would reflect across because it's a perpendicular bisector when this radius cuts into a chord, and so that would then set up with x squared plus 7 squared equals 15 squared. There might be another situation where you're finding the hypotenuse, but hopefully that's enough to get you going on 24-2. 22-3 is reaching way back, where we are playing with the concept of SOHCAHTOA. So remember that this says that the sine of an angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And the tangent of an angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. And so that being said, we have, and I'm making these up, so we have situations where you might be given an angle up here of 28 degrees, and we're going to find the hypotenuse, and I'm going to tell you this is a length of 14. So really what matters is we need to identify the different pieces of the triangle. So with respect to this 28 degrees, this 14 is adjacent because it helps to build it. The x is opposite the 90 degrees, so that's our hypotenuse. This third side we would call the opposite side, but we actually don't need it because there's no value in us finding it at the moment. So this deals with adjacent and hypotenuse. That's cosine. So we would say that the cosine of this angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse 14 over x, and then our task is to go about solving. So I'm going to multiply away the x, and then divide both sides by the cosine of 28 degrees. And then I'm going to turn on my calculator. So just a couple of things with the use of the calculator. Boy, I really need that to not be fuzzy right now. Come on, please. There we go. So, just stay put. We need to go into our mode and make sure that we are in degree mode, and I'm using a graphing calculator. If you're using a little blue calculator, you should see the letter D or DEG show up, and then if you're using an online one, just make sure you're in degree mode or it's not going to work for you. So we literally need to type this into our calculator, 14 divided by the cosine of 28 degrees, and maybe it'll focus. There we go. And come on, it gives us 15.9. I'm moving the dang thing. So that's how we would solve for x. I'm going to set up another example. What matters is just kind of the locations that we're interested in working with. So I'm going to create this guy as x. I'm going to tell you this side over here is 22. and then I'm going to have an angle right here, and I'm going to say that that is 37 degrees. So again, this is opposite because we're running all the way across the triangle. This guy here is adjacent because it's not opposite the 90 degrees, so it's not the hypotenuse. The pieces we're playing with are opposite and adjacent, so that is tangent. The tangent of 37 degrees is equal to 22 over x. We'll multiply away the x. And I just realized you can't see that. Divide away the tangent of 37. And I'll type this so you guys, if you're doing this at home, you can just check to make sure. So that is about 29.2. I'm going to do one more quick one. So let's say this guy is 20 and this one is 12, and I'm looking at, I don't know, a 40-degree angle. So the 20 is our hypotenuse, opposite the 90 degrees, opposite the 40 is the 12. Well, opposite hypotenuse, that's the sine. So the sine of 40 degrees, let's pretend I didn't make that 12. It's not going to be 12. I wanted that to be my x. I was rolling through too fast. So it'll be opposite over hypotenuse. In this case, we just need to multiply away the 20, and then we'll type it into our calculator. And we're looking, oh my gosh, at 12.9. I didn't expect it to work because you guys know I'm just making up numbers as I go. I hope that helped. Bye.